Hey Pokemon Masters, Toby here, and I'm about to complain about the Pokemon games. I'm gonna be pretty whiny about it, but I promise you, you probably have the tolerance to be able to put up with it, because if you've played through Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you have the tolerance to put up with a lot. Hey, I'll try and be funny about it, but this is a space for me. This video is really me encapsulating me venting. I often know that my reputation online as a Pokemon YouTuber is Toby is a really positive guy. He's an upbeat guy, and there's lots that I enjoyed about Scarlet and Violet, which I'll link in this video here, which is also linked at the top of the description. This video is just the things that I enjoyed about Scarlet and Violet, because there was a lot that I enjoyed about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I also know that people think of me maybe as a Pokemon chill. Pokemon Company very kindly sent me out a copy of Pokemon Violet. Thank you so much to the Pokemon Company for that. I do also pay for my own copies and do giveaway copies, just for full transparency here. But I don't want to be a hypocrite here. I want to be honest about my criticisms about this game. And I wanted to separate my criticisms about this game in particular from the things that I enjoyed. I did not want to do an all-encompassing review. So if you want to hear the things that I enjoyed, I recommend that video linked in the description. And also, if you're not up for sort of like 20 to 30 minutes of a dude just whining about the latest children's video game, this video isn't for you, because that is what this video is going to be. I also ask if you're going to take part in this whining with me in the comment section down below to be respectful of one another. At the end of the day, if someone enjoyed playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and you didn't, great. Let them enjoy the experience to the fullest extent that they experienced it. But in my opinion, when it comes to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon Company, I don't know if you're watching or not, there are three things that that were in this game that I thought were just egregious, and it could not and should not have been shipped like this. And then there were a number of smaller things that I want to talk about as well. So that is what this video is going to be. Again, if that's not for you, I strongly advise you to click away. But if you are still here, if you clicked this video, you saw the title, you knew what it was going to be, I'm gonna have a little bit of a whinge, because by Jove, if I'm gonna spend the next year making videos about Pokemon, then I need to have the ability to also say what I don't like about the games, and so that's what this video is. So here come my big three issues in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about the Don fan in the room. It's the graphics. You knew that this was coming. And no, I'm not talking about the art direction, and I'm not talking about the textures, which I think look absolutely beautiful. The textures of the Pokemon, their scales, their fur, their skin, their metal, or the people and the clothes that they wear and the skin tones that they have, everything there looks absolutely fantastic. I'm talking about your surroundings. This big, beautiful open world that looks jaggedy as all hell. I'm talking about Route 1, where all the Pokemon are Lechonk and the spider Pokemon, and they're supposed to be round, but how can they be round when they're just so jaggedy? I'm talking about shadows that pop in and out everywhere, lighting that changes, just full parts of the screen that stop working. I'm talking about the water town, which has the 3-tiered layers. I saw a Golduck just walking across the sky randomly at one point, while the water, the mirage look on the water, doesn't look beautiful and seamless. It looks jaggedy as all heck. I do not understand how the game got shipped like this. Now, there are a couple things you could do, and I should preface here, to make your gaming experience better. Number one, if you are experiencing these kind of issues, you can turn off the game and turn off the console completely and restart. Number two, you can try moving the game to your internal storage of your Switch, not your SD card. And number three, and this is the one that I found helped the most, play off the dock. There's nothing wrong with this monitor. This is a good monitor that I use to get, good colors for my thumbnails and that kind of thing. This is an Asus. It's a modern monitor, it's only a year or so old. There's nothing wrong with the TV in there. In fact, the TV that I have in my living room is just a bigger version of the TV that they have at the Nintendo showrooms for playing Nintendo Switch games, because I enjoyed the colors of Link's Awakening so much on that screen that I asked them what TV they got, and they told me. There's nothing wrong with the screens I'm using, but the bigger the screen this game is on, the more apparent these problems become. My enjoyment skyrocketed after stopping playing on other screens and just playing in handheld mode. I think it looks a lot better that way, but even then, problems aren't ignorable. They're just ignorable to a lesser degree. Stuff still pops in and out. Pokemon, people, locations, mountains, trees, and clouds, and all sorts else. Messagoza City is the place where Missing No is canon, because apparently everyone moves around like they live in that simulation from Rick and Morty, or like, my man. There's a lot there, but you've heard it all before. You've seen it all on Twitter already. You've seen it all on socials, and maybe you don't care about that. Toby, it doesn't matter how bad the graphics are if the gameplay is good. Yeah, it doesn't matter how bad the graphics are if the gameplay is good. This is me stepping away from any politics about whether the Pokemon Company should produce better games or whatever else, and I don't care about the tree or Dexit from Sword and Shield. None of that bothers me. I agree. At the end of the day, if the graphics aren't there, if the gameplay is good, that's wonderful, which is why I move on to big problem number 2. The first hour and a half of the game is trash. There is no other way of me to say it. There is a like 10-minute window in that first hour and a half where you can go off exploring and doing your own thing, and you feel like the run through is yours. But the tutorial is so long. It feels so long. And by the tutorial, I'm talking about everything from the moment you boot up the game to about when you leave the school in Mesagoza City and you have your 3 quest lines begun. Everything up until that point, other than the little sort of 10 minutes that you can go off, well, you can make it as long as you want, but the time that you go off and you can go exploring to the east of the first route, other than that, the game is painfully slow, showing you everything as if you were a 2-year-old playing a game for the first time. Now I know, for Pokemon, many of the people might be toddlers or young children who are playing a video game for the first time, but I cannot understand what child is sitting there enjoying all of this text, enjoying just being handheld this much. Who's getting excited about this? The bit in the cave where Miraidon or Koraidon is walking in front of you and you cannot run past them, I don't understand, like, who thought that was a good idea? Just speed Miraidon or Koraidon up. Don't allow us to catch up with it if it's going to be the case. In my mind, it is possibly the worst opening to a Pokemon game ever. There's also the rival battle on the beach, and they like, as you get to the beach, the music disappears. Now, I understand what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be setting the scene, building up a little bit of tension. Oh, it's quiet. And as we look out across the beautiful water and see the beautiful landscape and get ready to battle our rival for the first time, except I'm not seeing beautiful water and I'm not seeing a beautiful landscape. I'm seeing jaggedy edges. Don't say I'm over exaggerating. I know what my experience was, thank you very much. My experience of this game was that it ran poorly. That, combined with the slowness of the opening, if I was a kid picking up this game for the first time, I would stop playing. That is a fact. Because that, combined with part number 3, when you first enter that first town and you can't enter a single house, and as you realize, this game is just the overworld, and heck, the overworld is really cool. Once you get into it, once you can get to the other side and get to the gameplay, that's fine. But the first time you enter a town and you can't speak to any NPC, I mean, you can speak to them. They don't have anything to say. They have nothing of interest to say. The buildings, you can't go in them. And you think, well, surely maybe it's just this row of houses. Maybe it's just the first town. Oh, okay, so maybe the other towns don't exist to facilitate anything but other than Pokemon centers, but maybe Mesagoza City. And then you get to Mesagoza City and there's the shops, but aside from the shops, there's a whole bunch of buildings and a whole bunch of NPCs that live there that they have nothing to say. There's nothing to explore in Mesagoza City other than the school. It might as well just be the school. They might as well get rid of the city. They might as well get rid of these towns. There is a town in the east of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that exists only to give you the evolution item for Ceruledge and Armarouge. There are 2 Pokemon centers in this town, and not a single NPC that has anything to say about the world, where they live, the region. They're all just saying things like, my man, they're all robots living in a simulation. This is, in my mind, these are 3 things that I've never seen from a Pokemon game before, and when put in combination, made my first hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes of this game absolutely miserable. There's a game called Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that exists after this hour and 45 minutes, that exists out there in the big open Paldea region, that is filled with areas to explore and mystery to be had. There is stuff that I really enjoy about the way that the Pokemon live together, and that's what this video is. But this video is about the hour and a half before that, where I just had the most miserable time playing a brand new Pokemon game. My expectations were not high. I don't think this is the result of high expectations. I think this is a result of exactly what I played, and I think that's resonated with by a lot of the fan base and the people who played this game. And I'm not even saying if you enjoyed the game, I enjoyed the game. I got 50 hours out of this game. I definitely, for the copies that I bought, feel like I got my money's worth. I'm happy with what was there, but I wish it wasn't buried under the pile of stuff that it is. And I get it. This isn't all that serious. At the end of the day, we're talking about a Pokemon game here. The world has bigger issues, but the Pokemon world is a place I go to escape those issues. It's also kind of become a place of work for me, which is something that I'm actually looking to address over the next couple of years. We'll talk about that in the future. But that is something that, like, now I have to escape there. and I'm not enjoying it. That's just where I'm at as a fan. Now, those are the 3 big things, but there are also some smaller things that really, really annoy me. The Team Stars bases, the first one was fun. Doing the same thing 5 times, not fun. Learning about the story, okay, I guess, though very, very generic. So there's no, there's no mystery, by the way, about who Cassiopeia is. Obviously, it's Penny. At the end of the game, when you battle Clavel, and he's like, I was the person in the phone all along, I was genuinely stunned. I was like, oh my, that's amazing. I loved the way that they played on my expectations of it being Oh no, wait a moment, it actually was Penny. Oh. There was no mystery there, the story wasn't good, and playing through those bases is by far my least fun part of the game. This wasn't an evil team plot, this wasn't exciting or fun for me. So the whole Team Stars plot, a third of the game, not enjoyable to me. As well as that, the gym tests, the gym challenges before the actual battles themselves were sometimes fun. Sunflora hunting was okay if it wasn't for the jankness by which the Sunfloras are like following you and finding you. That's one thing, but like there were some gym challenges, and I swear to goodness the psychic one where you're doing the dance class that has nothing to do with anything that you've done in the game before or will do again afterwards. This mini game was a waste of resources and time. I don't know who made this. This was not where your energies in game development should have been put. I am so sorry. This wasn't fun. I don't know who this was fun for. I didn't even know what I was supposed to be doing half the time. And yeah, again, I love Pokemon. I love the stuff that they make. This was infuriating. On a personal note, there weren't really many other connections to past Pokemon games. They did the same thing in Sword and Shield, and it annoyed me then, and it annoys me now. Playing a new Pokemon game, I love to see how the world has expanded, but the world hasn't expanded. We've entered a different world, a different bubble, separate from the rest of it. There are a couple of little references or Easter eggs there, but you know, I was on the lookout for references and Easter eggs, and there were very few, and none of them told me anything about what happened to any of the characters from Sword and Shield or a previous game. None of them reappeared. There was no level of evolving or growth in this world. It was just kind of very separate, and I suspect with the DLCs upcoming, which I assume are going to happen, that'll be the case. And we assume DLCs are coming because number 4 thing that I really didn't enjoy, small thing, there's no post game. After you've done the first, and to be fair, I spent 50 hours in the game, the first 50 hours, I really feel like I've explored absolutely everything there is to explore in the Paldea region. There may be a cave that I haven't gone in somewhere, but generally speaking, once you've caught those final legendary Pokemon, which by the way, the quartet of legendaries is a very cool part of the game, like going and exploring and finding all of the stakes, and they're really, really fun. But once you've done all of that and the main story and you've caught everything you want to catch, there's no like battle tower, there's no battle facility, there's really a big lack of post-game after the credits roll. I can only assume they're waiting to sell it to us later, and I'm a little bit worried, and to be fair, this isn't a Pokemon-only problem, but I'm half expecting the DLC to be an announcement of, yeah, new story and some really cool, exciting new stuff in there, but also just reselling us stuff that would have been in base Sword and Shield or base Sun and Moon. I think the main thing would have been just like a battle facility or something else to check out after. And the final thing is the shiny noise. Now, I can take a guess as to why they removed the shiny noise from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Because Pokemon pop in and out as you go far away from them. And if you're on the bike and you're going really fast and you hear the shiny noise and you turn around and you can't find it, well, you assume it's popped out. It's disappeared. It's no longer coming back. And what does that mean? It means you're going to be disappointed. Hearing that shiny noise probably going to lead to more disappointment than it is excitement, and that's a shame because in Pokemon Legends Arceus, finding a shiny Pokemon was a genuinely exciting experience. You hear that noise, you've seen the shorts, you've seen the reels, you've seen the TikToks, and you hear the noise and you look around, where's the shiny Pokemon? You go and get it, and it you know, can make sure it doesn't run away or make sure it doesn't get away or despawn or whatever. In this game, I assume they removed it because the likelihood is the Pokemon will have despawned by the time that you have to turn back and get it, but what it means is there is a different disappointment. You probably know you've passed a shiny Pokemon, but you didn't know what the shiny was, and it didn't necessarily stand out, so you've probably missed it. If you saw a shiny Gible or Garchomp in the other world, Gible you'd probably be fine, but Garchomp, you definitely didn't know. You know what I mean? These are just some things that I didn't like. And I didn't feel like the need to make this kind of video for Sword and Shield or Legends Arceus. I think Legends Arceus is probably one of the most ambitious Pokemon games they've ever made, and with it, there was a problem in those games, the white outline that appears around people in caves. But that problem that pokes you in the face and reminds you, you're playing a video game right now, that problem exists for like 5 minutes of the game, it's whatever. But with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, there are a lot of issues that I am hoping the Pokemon Company patch out, because this is, for me, a problem that is unignorable. and I hate that. And for those of you who have made it 15 minutes into this video of me just being a whiny child and entitled Pokemon, you know, so you didn't even pay for the game, you got it for free. I did pay for the game, I bought multiple copies, but that aside, for anyone who's just listening to me whine, and well done that you've got this far, because wow, like I say, you played Scarlet and Violet, you probably have the tolerance for things that are a little bit painful to experience. I gotta say thank you for listening to me. I am interested to hear your thoughts in the comments, but please try to be kind to each other. You know, try and not take this to Twitter and declare war on people who enjoy the game or who are defending the game, because people are obviously allowed to enjoy this game in the same way that I'm allowed to not enjoy it. In fact, me and the last shaman, my lovely partner Phoebe, we had a complete disagreement. All those problems I was seeing, she didn't see a lot of them. Or for her, they just weren't a big deal. They didn't bother her. She was able to enjoy the game, and I am so happy that she's up there right now playing the game and enjoying it. I'm really, really happy if you managed to enjoy the game, but understand that not all of us did. And these reasons, in my opinion, and that is all this is at the end of the day, just my opinion is, what will I do? I don't know. I will, if Pokemon games continue to be this level of problem, I'll probably skip the next couple. That's how I feel. I probably won't skip the next one because I'll probably still be doing YouTube then, but maybe the one after that. And see, that's the frustration. I genuinely think there was so much promise in here that, like, it's a great demo for Gen 10. Gen 10 might actually nail it and knock it out of the park. I think what I really want to see over the next couple of years is Pokemon trying their hands at other styles of games, maybe going back to sprite-based for a spin-off or doing more Legends stuff, and seeing if there is a different way of doing the main series. That said, there might still be promise in the main series yet. There were a lot of steps in the right direction. Maybe they can't do everything all at once, and maybe the next main series game in Gen 10 will alleviate all of these issues. For that, only time will tell. And there was an enjoyable game under there. I had a really fun time still playing it regardless, especially of that first hour and a half. That aside, the other like 49 hours I played, I really enjoyed. And here is the video on that, linked at the top of the description. Thank you all for watching. Be respectful for each other in the comments. And of course, soar high, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.
A tremendous thank you to those of you who've been supporting this channel year-round on Patreon, but a special thank you to the big patrons of this month, Michael Hornschuch, the Alligator, Jedruben, and Anthony Lee. Thank you.